Green is what, oh, I see, green is,
Green is from the front of the house.
right, okay.
Yeah, it's off to the side, on the right-hand side of the property in the front yard. It's 30 feet long up to the edge of the house going along the front of the property. That'll be about 4 feet. And then
4 feet
behind...
high, or
4 feet high by 30 foot in terms of length.
I don't have an indication or anything here that, or do I? Do you have something that shows what type of fence that is?
In terms of the materials?
The shape, the material, the color?
Yeah, it's going to be a white fence. The material is made out of vinyl.
What does the fence look like?
It's this picture here.
Oh, it is? So
Yeah,
it's-
exactly. It's exactly that. It's called the Oklahoma-style vinyl fencing from this manufacturer, the Interstate Wholesale Fence.
Okay, so that fence is both the green highlighted and the yellow highlighted?
The yellow highlight, which is, yes, exactly, that'll be 6 feet going from there, the yellow highlight.
6 feet high.
6 feet high, yes, by 46 foot length.
So this is 6 foot high. The green is,
4 by 30, 4 feet high by 30 long.
and the green is 4 feet high?
6 feet.
6 feet.
All right, I'm lost.
No,
Yellow is,
this is 4 feet by 30 feet long.
right,
This is 6 feet
Right.
by
so that was right.
46.
4 feet high. And they're both the Oklahoma fence.
Yes, sir, of the vinyl make, yes.
Okay. So now, the other fences that,
The one that we just marked, says that it's white aluminum.
That goes along the left-hand side here. That's aluminum here. So this small segment here, which is 4 feet high by 30 feet in terms of length, that's 4 foot vinyl privacy. And then going behind that, along that same line, is 6 feet by 46 feet in length, and that's still aluminum privacy. And then on the other side of the
how high
property,
is that?
6 feet.
I'm lost again, so I just have to look at what you're writing. Okay.
All right.
So go ahead.
And so
Sorry, so that is also how long?
this part here is 6 feet by 46 feet.
I thought the other one was 40.
So is it on Sunnyside, it rises from 4 to 6 feet, they're different heights?
Yes.
And why is that?
For privacy. I mean, this is the front of the property, so that's the front yard, so we were going to go with 4 feet with that, because there's a pre-existing metal fence on the other property that's 4 feet, so we're just keeping in line with that, and it's also for aesthetics to keep along with that, the white fence that we're planning on having in the backyard as well.
Okay.
So are these two the same? These are the same. One is
Except-
4 feet and one is a 6. Both of them are the Oklahoma.
And I'm sorry to understand that, so if that's on Sunnyside itself, the property, there's a different grade? No, the
In
property.
the back of the property.
The front is the same, but there's gonna be a different height differential?
This, to the house, I guess just up to the house is 4 feet,
Yes, sir.
and then from the house over and back, is there a gate on that?
Yeah.
Yes, there'll be a gate there as well.
Is that marked on the drawings? Is the gate marked?
On
It's
the,
kind of highlighted
Yeah, I know,
or darker.
Where is the, there's another drawing. There is actually,
Is it right here and
there is a gate shown there. This is actually better, even though this is colorized, this is actually a better thing to look at.
This one.
Yeah.
Is that going to be also the vinyl?
yeah, that's, this portion is vinyl, this portion's vinyl, and the piece that comes across here, which might be on your drawing, that's vinyl as well. And that's to be 4 feet.
Okay, so the one that goes across is where that little question mark, that's where that's 4 feet?
Lower.
No, lower.
The dark part. That one.
Oh, that piece is, and what is this up here?
This is 4,
Uh-huh.
this is 4, this is 6.
And then what's that little thing here?
I think that's just a setback.
Setback, no fence.
No fence. It's just a setback from the property line to the house.
On your drawing, you're showing 5 feet on that gate, or is that 5 feet wide gate?
5-foot wide gate.
Wide?
Yes.
All right.
So the house is here.
There's the house.
The front door, where's the front door of the house? Where
There's a porch here, and the steps go up, and the front door is there.
and Sunnyside is here. Okay, so this is the neighbor, and it's gonna 4 foot, and then it rises to 6 feet, then there's no fence here. You don't see anything.
It looks like
What
a
continues
green
beyond
area.
here?
Greenery?
Is there an existing fence there?
There's an existing actually retaining
Chain
wall
link?
and fence
Oh, okay.
because the property next to us is actually higher than us. Our backyard grades down, I
does.
think drops down about 10 feet until it gets to the brook in the back there.
You're leaving the chain link fence on
Yes,
top
we're
of that?
leaving that, yes.
So this is chain link.
Yeah, that's actually, I believe it belongs to the property owners next to us, so we're just leaving that as existing. It's a retaining wall with a chain link fence above that.
All right, so, once again, this yellow,
That's that's going to
that's the
be,
Oklahoma as well?
no, that's on the second picture, which is the aluminum fence.
That's,
So that's going to be a white aluminum fence of 4 feet high. The reason we chose
Is that the
that,
second set of pictures, the aluminum?
yes, ma'am.
That's this?
Yes,
The
exactly.
contemporary?
The contemporary, exactly. Very simple, 4 feet high. It's white in color, and it provides some transparency, so it gives separation and security, but aesthetically, it looks good. Being able to see through it so that doesn't
How long is it
detract.
gonna be?
It's 110 feet.
110.
And it's what color?
White,
It is white. Okay.
keeping with the color of the vinyl.
And it's, looking back, it is 6 feet high?
4 feet,
high.
4 feet high.
And then there's another fence, right?
Yeah, the B one.
The big, right?
The B one is
The
a
behind.
PVC.
Exactly, PVC or vinyl, it's the same, I guess it's the same material, same as the fence that's going on the other side of
What
the
does
house.
that look like, this big
It's,
fence?
the B fence is again the Oklahoma. It
Oh, it is?
provides privacy for the backyard separation,
And then that one is 4 or 6 feet?
6 feet since it's in the back.
So 6-foot Oklahoma in the back.
And also white?
White, yes, sir.
All right.
So you've got 3 runs of white Oklahoma, 2 at 6 feet and 1 at 4 foot, and then you've got the
The aluminum
aluminum that runs,
along
the
the,
longest run.
West side of the property.
yes.
Now, these 10 feet, is it here?
The 10 feet,
Is it here? Because it shows,
that's the older plan. That's not, we decided not to have that. That's actually in the front of the property here. We removed that from here and placed it here.
Say that again?
So what Claudia is referring to is that this was here, we've placed it here. So
that's
that's,
no longer
yeah, that's no longer there.
So you have-
this one. That used to be
Uh-huh.
out here,
Right,
so now it's here.
right, I have it listed, there.
Rick, can you just show us which part that is?
Which part, we're talking about this part now. But what she was talking about is there was a fence going across. See where she has a fence going across?
That's what I thought, okay.
I didn't have it, I don't have it on mine, so.
It's just hard to follow without a diagram, and we're all looking at different
I
pictures.
apologize.
That's all
I did want it to drop off the most recent, but I think there was some confusion, that's why it wasn't provided in your packets.
Okay. Now that the fence is on the very corner of that back, of the B, I mean, the gate rather?
Yes, sir.
So what kind of drop-off is there after the Belgian block? It seems like from the street the drop-off comes right at that Belgian block. Is that not the case?
Belgian block, I'm sorry.
The Belgian block at where your driveway, the back of your driveway.
The back of my driveway, yeah, it does drop off, and then you're right, there's a retaining wall at the back of our property on the west corner where you see that 16 feet component, which is going to be the vinyl fence. It ends at that retaining wall, and the rest of the backyard is left open.
So the fence that you're putting, that 27-foot stretch of fence across, is on the same level as the driveway?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because from the street, it looks like it just falls off very quickly.
Yeah, it drops off after that, yes.
Are your neighbors aware that you're putting in a fence?
Yes.
All right, so getting back to that section, the B section, that gate is the same type of gate that you're having on the front left of the house?
Yes, sir.
And that's also 5 feet wide?
Yes, sir.
It's such a compliment to neighbors,
Okay. I think I'm clear. Anybody else have any questions? Any additional questions, ladies?
The mix of the fence and the heights, I'm assuming that.
I mean, the
And
only,
it's all
the
because
only,
of the property and, I guess because of the privacy in front of the house or on the side of that house. That's the only difference.
So in our picture, the fence on the right, that's the aluminum, the white aluminum.
Yes, ma'am.
So why is that one different than the one on the left? Is it because of what the neighbors have?
To some degree, yes, and it also provides ease of view. When we're pulling out in our driveway, we can see the traffic since it's a slotted fence with, where we can see through it. And then also the neighbors can see through, and it looks, looking at the rest of the neighborhood, it looks more aesthetically pleasing, since a lot of the fences in the front are either aluminum or picket fence, where there's opening and space so that you could see through. And in the back, we wanted to have privacy for both security and for privacy, to separate out the backyard.
okay. Anybody else? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
You can contact the building department in a day or two, and he'll have all the information for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Clean this up here.
Do you want this back? You know, the native permit.
Oh, sure, thank you. Okay, moving along, we'll go to revisions now. ARB 17-21, 41D, North Broadway, Lewis Windows.
John Malone, Ferguson Malone Architecture, representing the Lewises. This is a submission for a revision to an addition that was approved in front of ARB and is currently under construction. The client has revised the use of the space from what was a laundry room to a bedroom application, and the windows that were designed were to accommodate the laundry room. This is the revised plan The changes really only affected the second level of the structure. There's a bedroom in this area, 2 closet spaces, and I guess that there's some changing in this area, but it doesn't affect any windows in that area to make this a suite. So, on the side that faces Broadway, the north side of the house, there was a single-centered window on this elevation, and we revised it to where the 2 closets are to have these 2 tall windows that are similar in proportion to these ones below. The head heights are associated with the adjacent windows, and the sill heights are a little bit higher, but you know it's in a different plane. It's not on the same plane on the building, even though it shows that way. Then on the south-facing elevation, these 2 windows are on either side of the bed position. There was originally 3 centered windows in this area. Given the classical form of it, we've shown this configuration. I don't know, sometimes if you see a house that's been modified that has a certain amount of age on it, there are windows that are classically, like they leave the casing that's associated with them and then they infill them. And it just, you know, we could do it with or without that. I just wanted to offer that to you guys. I think this is something that is a way
Very
to...
confused of what that was.
Yeah, what it is, it's a wall service because, and we tried a lot of different things to get the client, I don't know if you guys remember this client, but we tried a lot of things to get what she wanted here, and there was no budging on this one. So, you know, you could just develop it with the 2 windows like this without that and not have that cased, or you could do it. So, I mean, at this point...
Is that existing
No,
facade as it?
No, so this is all new right now, so this is being framed out as new.
That's
So this is,
addition,
yeah, this is an
facing.
addition, so this is kind of a fiction, like you're kind of imagining that there was 2 stages and there was a window there once and it was closed in. It's sort of a detail that happens a lot in New England in modifications to houses. It's something that could help that facade or not. And then on the south facade, we're showing a new door assembly. What I wanted to show you today is that since we've submitted this, the client has proposed a different change, and maybe we could approve that tonight, but I wanted to show it to you, but it's actually to put even more glass in this area and change the proportions of the doors. But this is what's submitted right now. I could show you quickly the proposed change there, which it does not match what's been submitted. So if we have to come back, that's fine. I thought it would be good to at least show you what was expressed today. So the doors on this portion of the building are 2-foot wide doors, and even these they're 2 2-footers, so they're 4.0. And so that's what's shown in here. Rather than have 1 5-foot wide opening, it's a 2-foot wide opening with 2 of the windows that are similar to the back facade. So we think it's a little bit more consistent with the house, and it meets her requirements. But that would be a modification from what is submitted at the moment.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. We are going to
Might
have
as
to
well get
submit
it,
it.
might as well get it approved.
Right. Yeah, if you guys can do it tonight, that would be great. And we'll follow up with, Ed in terms of finalizing the...
So what do you make of that window? What do you
Yeah, that's looking
recommend?
at, this looks very interesting, but what do you think about that, siding or a big window?
I prefer the siding, all siding.
And just let it be what it's going to be.
Yes, I feel like it has beautiful, I mean, I'm crazy about symmetry too, but I don't think it represents the beauty of the house. I think that just putting framing reminds me of a house that has a broken window and you just covered it with plywood.
It brings a lot of attention to itself, and it does even in old buildings. When they do that, all I see is like, oh. So in
What
one sense, it
happened
could
there?
be interesting, like, because it could make you look at it, but in another way, right, it
I
brings
see
a lot
when
of
you put
attention.
grills or when you put it's in the first floor and you match the grills and you put plant in there, but on the second floor, it looks like something that was there and it was patched, in my opinion.
Right.
I think it will look nicer since it's all new, just to leave it with siding.
The center lines of these can
Yeah.
still be related to the center lines below, and we sort of position them that way. So there's still there's
You still see the
organization to
symmetry
it,
in there,
you know.
yeah,
Yeah, this was kind of, a bit of a struggle, so I was going
I know.
to, leave it to you guys to see what you thought about that.
Or they could add the window. I know that there is a hanging closet, hanging,
Oh, it's a closet.
it's a whole hanging wall
It's not
there.
happening.
We had a
I
lot
feel like
of,
there's so much symmetry
That's
on
why
every
when
other
I first
facade
came,
of
I
the
asked
house.
if it was
This
already
space is
presented.
basically a very wooded, it faces the prison.
and it's a
right?
secondary, you know, it's a secondary structure,
Yeah.
like to have some
Yeah.
I
irregularities.
do actually like the doors though, the change.
Yeah,
The change to the
doors are
doors is better to
better,
have a
yeah.
more vertical read to it, yes.
And
And it
matches
has
the rest
the
of it.
balcony, yes.
The explosion.
Yeah, I think that's better. That actually came, that was not us, that was the client, said, what are you doing? Oh, and the, oh, actually, crucial change is now, this was a one-story deck, and is now showing as a covered porch, so there's actually a balcony that's being added to this, which is related to the doors, which wasn't there before, and, you know, an uncovered one-story deck is really atypical for, you know, this period, so we didn't need it up there, and they didn't want the expense, so this one actually shows the second level. I think it's gonna make much more sense.
So how do you want to change the application?
Should we just, could I submit this sheet, we have one copy of it, and then we say we follow up with it?
And you're going to mark up?
We can X that.
All right, and I'll put that with the,
Oh, I need a pen that works. Maybe I got one.
thank you. Just initial it, John.
It's a beautiful design.
It's a beautiful house.
Yeah,
That's
really.
why I felt like that
Beautiful.
was not even justice.
Just,
We had a really excellent design, it didn't happen.
just make a note also, John, that, just make a note that that's changed.
Has the revised,
Going to need to get any changes from the planning board on that? Any other questions, please? We'll have a motion to accept the application as amended. Second? All in favor?
I
Okay. This one's for you, John. I will include this with the sign drawings, and I don't have it tomorrow.
so we'll follow up with it tomorrow. I'll
Yeah.
just get the rest of it. Thanks for your flexibility.
Good luck and welcome back.
Thanks. I had a few quick items that I just wanted to touch base with you on other projects, but I don't want to get in the way. You should stay on this course here. You don't get
Just want to wait a few minutes, we should be done here.
one more.
I was going to say that before.
I just thought maybe you were
Unless
interested
you
in
thought
what you're.
unless you thought we were interested.
Okay,
Interest in architecture. I'm
Yeah,
a
so
surgeon,
people-
so it's in some many ways.
It's true.
It is. What kind of surgery?
Did you hear that, John? Surgery is similar.
Yeah, for existing houses, it's probably a lot.
Because I work with chisels, drills, because I'm an orthopedic surgeon, so very similar.
leave the fence installation out.
I was just
We don't want you to-
thinking,
we don't want you to mess with your
let's not
hands.
compare.
Thank you.
Good
Have
luck.
a good night.
Yeah. Alrighty, so now we get to the new matter, ARB 17-44, 9 Beechwood Road, windows. I don't want to ruin the name. Politzer?
Need to adjust this? Unless you want me to just hold
It
it.
does, all right.
My name's Rachel Lindeman. I'm here on behalf of Sid Schloman, architect for the project, and also the client, the Pulitzers.
Okay.
The proposal is fairly straightforward. They've got an existing double-hung window that they'd like to replace with a slider of the same width. And then where there, if you look, this is the rear of the house. The current door that's there will be closed up. And where the double hungs are, to the left of that, there's a small window that's going to get replaced with two larger double hung windows side by side.
You said the double hung window with the same size slider, so there is a double hung window here.
Yeah.
Because the previously submitted had the demolition and it was more clear. This one seems to be the same. It doesn't
Yeah,
show the new.
the existing, oh, they gave you,
This is the latest one.
That was gonna be my question.
yeah, there's,
And this one is
The
the
reason-
older one that has the sliders. You see how this one has the slider?
Yeah, this one doesn't.
yeah, they gave you drawings for our other permit, which is for the interior work. They had to separate out the interior from the exterior.
What you're saying is the initial,
This is the initial.
July 12th.
yes, okay. See, but what I need to find out is what they're asking you to approve, because it's the new version. You don't want to approve the new version because it doesn't have anything in it.
The new version has the elevation, but it doesn't have materials also.
The one that they have. One of them is right, one of them is wrong.
I think this is right in floor plan, but doesn't have any elevations. The latest one that we've got now has the facade.
This is
July 12th.
July 12th, this is July 12th and August 18th, but the revision doesn't have the doors.
Or was 15?
Yeah, but it doesn't have,
No, doesn't explain.
I can't approve the August 18th drawings because they're incorrect.
Can you clarify for me so that I can make sure that we revise and correct them?
Let me bring this out so you can see what we're talking about. This is only the July 12th. It shows the doors, it shows everything correct. It doesn't have an elevation, which we need technically, but which this one does. So this is correct, showing the doors, but see, there's nothing here. There's no doors there.
Oh, so you
And
need,
this is the, see, it
this-
says August 18th?
yes, you want this floor plan with this elevation.
Correct.
And if you could specify the materials that you're going, because you're going to infill the wall, that's the detail of the construction wall, but you don't have any exterior materials.
Yeah, it's matching what's existing.
Right. Yeah, I saw it was matching, but if you could clarify that, and maybe a window and door schedule with the materials of the openings, the materials of the windows and the doors, because, you know, we're,
Make some notes.
You can take my copy to do so.
you
Yeah.
can take a, you can
You
make
can't have
notes on
these
the,
two because
no.
these are building requirements.
Yeah, so you can have those and make notes on those.
You didn't even just mark it up so you can see what we were given.
Okay.
I marked mine, I don't know if it's sufficient for you, for them to take exterior materials, elevation, that's what was missing, because you have that. And on
Right.
this one,
So
you don't have the infills underneath. The
Okay.
materials and door and window schedule.
Okay.
But,
Don't confuse the ones up front.
yeah, these are, yeah, I got to take those.
You can have my copy anyway.
That's perfect.
Okay. And when's the deadline for the interior?
10 days before, It's 2 weeks, the meeting's in 2 weeks, so by the end of this week, it'd be best to have it in.
It's pretty simple. You might as well take them on.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
okay.
Have a good night.
Look, sorry about that. Nothing you can do.
So, I said, do you guys know 119, what is it, 119? The large brick building on Main Street that is, Ann Foley is trying to renovate.
129?
129, sorry. 129. So she came to us, as part of the approval, we have the brick. She could not afford a masonry restoration, so as part of the approval, if you guys remember, we said we would paint the brick of the ground level
Right.
to match the upper level. They started painting it white, and she's asked.
I thought was it supposed to be red?
What's the address?
It's supposed to match the brick.
It's the red brick building at the top of Main Street,
Oh,
on the
yes.
left.
Yes.
There's
On the left side, I
liquor
don't know
store.
if you
Yeah.
guys
Yes.
noticed.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes,
one
yes,
that you've
yes,
been
yes,
working
yes.
on, yeah.
Yes, that they fix it.
Yeah, they're
Sign.
fixing it. It's very, very slow. The contractor who's doing it is not really competent. And so I think, I'm not sure what is driving it, whether she doesn't want to spend the money or someone's convinced or something, but she's asking, well, what if we paint the lower level white? And I've said, it's like, well, part of the approval was, the goal was to have the building to be consistent color to top to bottom. If you wanted to paint it a different color, we can bring that to the ARB. It doesn't have to be brick. There's lots of examples of painted brick buildings. It's just the notion of painting just the lower level is what she's asking. And I know Andrew's not here, but Andrew would just be like, you gotta be kidding me, we talked about this. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
really?
the goal was to paint it to match or restore the brick. Those were the two options that we gave you, like drawing safe, paint it to match. I mean, I said I would talk to you guys about it, but I didn't think that there would be much chance that you would.
Well,
Yeah, it
you are
sounds-
painting
it
it to
sounds
match, but
awful.
you want to change the color, and
Yeah.
that's, we don't usually chime in on color, but
Right, it was
In this
just,
case,
it was
because
part
of
of this
matches.
because it was about masonry. It was in place of a masonry repair,
Right.
and it was part of a larger project, and, I think, I don't know what to
Yeah,
call it.
I
said I
know.
would-
It's also about the gravitas of that building
Yeah, I was
in
gonna say,
terms
it's also
of Main Street.
Yeah, it's also
So-
historic, and we now have a design guide that wasn't in existence last time you were before
Right.
us, and that building is listed, so I think in order to give it its deference and to really look at it properly, we have to set a
Right.
whole presentation.
But what I wanted to tell her is, like, if she doesn't like the red and wants a lighter color, we can certainly propose
Something
a
else.
color. And I said, there's lots of examples of buildings that are beige, or grays, or beiges that are historic brick colors that have been painted. So that's what I was gonna.
Talking about the whole building in that case?
It would have to be the whole building, and then I
Yeah.
think that would probably push her back to simply,
Red?
doing what we had proposed.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a few paint colors, if you guys are up there, there is a few, if you wanted to email me, there's a few paint colors that are up there, there's 4 reds that are up there. There's one called Redwood something, which is the only one that I think of the 4 that's even close. If you look at that one that's marked Redwood, she's asking for it to be less orange and more red. And I think we can find something that matches the brick that does that. But I mean, the goal is, so at a distance, when you look at the building, it looks consistently one color. And then when you realize that the ground floors are painted. That's kind of where we're at now. The other thing is we have a client who's rush, which is this Fitzpatrick thing that shouldn't have gotten to you. It's the house on Barney Park. I don't know if you guys recognize this. This is at the end of Dutcher Street.
Is it the Mara House?
Craftsman style stucco, great stucco house. It's very,
The Mara House or no?
I think so.
On the left where you would turn the
Are
corner?
you finished?
At the end of Dutcher Street, once you go into Barney Park.
Oh,
it's the
I'm
end of-
sorry.
So you see the corner,
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
be on the west side of the corner.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The end of that street. She's asking you, we're gonna bring this to you next week, but we just wanna make sure we explain it. She wants to improve the windows, they're single pane, double hung windows, and, we're gonna do replacement windows, but, Marvin, we've done that before with you, the Marvin, they have a very thin, replacement sash that goes in this, a replacement frame that goes in and the sash goes in. The question is, she wants to do an aluminum clad window and then paint all the trim in the house to match the aluminum cladding in this new replacement window. And the only windows, there are some specialized windows that we want to replace. It has some specialized windows with, this kind of craftsman, and those we're not going to replace. It's only the single double hungs with open.
Well, are you replacing any windows on that side of the building?
Yes, but the double hungs, generally the double hungs would be replaced. You see the double hungs above. Right, and that's sort of the question, like, so the replacement windows would be potentially, fiberglass painted, which is this Marvin Integrity line, which just looks like painted wood, or these, the aluminum cladded Marvin, which is a wood window with an aluminum cladding, and the stone white, which would work here. And I just, does anybody have a strong opinion about, whether we would be using, it hasn't come up a lot that we do replacement with aluminum clad. Like at 129, the windows are all aluminum clad because it's a commercial building and it reduces exterior maintenance and future painting, especially when you have someone who maintains a building like that. You actually push them towards aluminum clad to make sure it's.
And you're also able to get the arch and
Yeah, get the arch.
How many windows does it need to be replaced?
It's probably going to be, above 10. It's going to be like.
So it's
What's going to end up happening is the majority of the windows are these double hungs that will be replaced, and there's going to be a few of these specialized windows that are the more divided, historic ones that would be kept in place.
and it's largely a cost issue, is that why, because you have 10?
Well, I think the aluminum clad would cost more than the painted version.
So why
It's
would-
more of a maintenance thing, so that you don't never have to paint them going forward. But I think she's getting them both priced. I was just going to give direction just to make sure that when we come to you next week, it's like a slam dunk to
Done.
move forward. But I don't know if you guys have strong opinions one way or the
I
other.
don't have a
So you
strong
think they're
opinion
a
about
good match for what's there on that same facade?
Yes, right. So the sticking and window would still be an OG. It would look like a historic window, but it would. The overall size, the glass area of the windows gets reduced by 1/4 inch all the way around because that's the frame reduces it so. And but it's not something.
And this is
that-
technically not Dutcher, so it's not within the
It's
historic
outside the
district.
historic district.
So that's.
Better houses than inside the historic district, but it's outside the
Yeah,
historic
exactly.
district.
So that's another factor that wouldn't concern me as a result.
Matter of opinion, John.
Yeah.
For those of us who live
Right.
in Dutcher.
Well, we have a better lifestyle.
Yes. Anyway, so Marvin Integra, is that what it is?
There's Marvin Integrity is the
Oh,
line
Integrity, okay.
that they make a replacement window, and then or the Marvin wood clad replacements, which is sort of the highest end replacement.
Okay.
Is she ready to move it?
It's another Fitzpatrick. It has to go
I know.
really fast. Yes. Right.
The last Fitzpatrick one they did, it wasn't,
Oh yeah.
That's another Fitzpatrick
Yes,
and family.
Tara's fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of it's. Well, I mean, Lewis is
No,
all the Mike's not on it. Lewis is
Yes.
also.
it is.
Yeah, this is Dawn's, this is Alana, Dawn's the last one we did, and this is Tara. Tara's house is barn, the new barn.
Now, is this, was that the Cooper Mullen house or is that the Mara
Tara
house?
is selling.
I'm not sure which one. It might be the
Selling
Mara
back
house.
out to move there.
Because Cooper Mullen is the one
Was that
that's
the
on
Cooper Mullen
I
house
think
or
it
is
was in
that
my
the next?
neighborhood and she just moved.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I got them all.
Okay, do I have a
She's
motion to
next
adjourn?
Next to Lynn Leahy, I'm assuming, right? Last one on the block.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Adjourning, aye.